Perfect. We're
Yes,
back
we are
to the
back.
table with a new powerful release deck.
Absolutely.
4 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago, we got back Tasigur. Which Samuel is the one who's piloting this Sultai Legend today.
Exactly. Both cards on the table released from the ban list.
True.
At some point.
Yep.
And this is a card that I feel like we had a strong Sultai control deck in Glob, and there's still pretty valid reasons to say I'd rather play Glob than I'll play Tasigur.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think that's a good spot to release a commander into. I don't think this deck is doing super crazy powerful things, but you get to play some cool cards, and it's a cool take on Sultai control. Has the same problems that other Sultai control decks have, that you sometimes don't have enough early interaction.
Yeah.
And but
it's getting better.
It's getting better, and what we do have is we have a commander that can come down turn 3 if things go well.
Yeah.
You play a couple of cantrips, a mental note, a thought scour, and then you have them on the board, and you still have a counterspell of it, which is a pretty strong dynamic.
Absolutely.
Especially just being able to cast your commander for 1 and have it be a 4/5 on the board is pretty strong against aggro decks. And yeah, we'll see how that goes today.
Yep. So we basically took the list from Elliot from the last. It was a bigger French tournament, I think. He's a French pro player, and he made a twist to the deck that we thought was a bit more interesting, adding those 2 Emerge Eldrazi's, for example.
Yep.
And the only swap that we made was re-including Wilderness Reclamation for another card, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Just because we love.
Either way, yeah. And Wilderness Reclamation is a great card in this deck. I think the control variant is definitely very powerful. We're both not sure whether or not the perfect Tasigur suit is yet found.
Yeah.
Because, there are shenanigans with Eldritch and Neoform and things like this, and you could also go in a more reanimator-ish direction with that.
Exactly. There's also I would say, a more mid-range plan.
Yeah.
Which gets to put a bunch of cards in the graveyard with maybe cards like Satyr Wayfinder, but more cards like Maelstrom, Malevolent Rumble, and then sometimes you just get to put a Hogak into play.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you have a lot of graveyard fuel, which some cards in the deck can do, then you are casting 2 creatures, one of which is Tasigur, and then you have Avengevine come back. These sorts of dynamics might be very strong as well, because the mid-range card pool in Sultai is pretty good, and there might be some sort of incidental reanimator plans that work around that. I think red is a good color in that as well, where you're missing a couple of things. I think that would be kind of a sort of Terra Light plan. But yeah,
coming straight from the professional, this estimation. I'm here with Asmo again, one of my favorite commanders still. I recently picked it up. It's Elliot Vivier's list, the guy who defeated you on cam at the Relic Fest. If you haven't checked out that matchup, you should give it a go. It was a very interesting one. And I think he has a very cool take on the list. We talked a little bit about it, and we got some recent changes. Moonshadow definitely went into the deck.
Yep.
Apart from that, a very aggressive approach. No reanimator things whatsoever. Just using your graveyard as a second card advantage tool and trying to bring those cycling/discard synergies going on.
Yeah, a deck that can be incredibly explosive. Sometimes it can stumble.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's something. These are 2 decks that, if you're playing a big tournament, you have to expect probably face
them. Yeah, I think Asmo is not as popular as expected, to be honest. At first, people were playing it a lot, and you saw it especially on MTGO. Recently, it seems it decreased a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also because, Breya was unbanned, now Tasigur is unbanned, and people constantly, and then there are new commanders being printed, so people constantly get to test out new things.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was cool to play Asmo again, but I'm going to move on to whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think that Asmo is a a contender of the
think
better
so
decks
too.
in the
Yeah.
format of the. I think it probably, I would say tier 1.
Yeah.
If tier 1 is big, then this is tier 1.
Yeah.
If you're saying okay, the only tier 1 deck is Spider-Man, then probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that range, Asmo definitely occupies a similar slot to Yoshi, to Aragorn, I would say. Yeah.
I think Spider-Man is a good example because I think this respective matchup is actually really good for Asmo from my experience. Because your entire graveyard things that you do, the deck can't really interact with because it by default has no graveyard interaction.
Yeah.
And presenting a 3/3 if you don't. Of course, the deck plays a bunch of bolts.
Yeah.
If you don't handle the 3/3, then you have to deal with the food tokens at some point. So
yeah, but what you also have in the deck is a very good ability to play around counter spells.
Absolutely, yeah.
Discarding a Phoenix, discarding a Poxwalkers, and then triggering it. These sorts of lines where you kind of circumvent you don't just play a 3-mana 3/3 on turn 3.
Right,
That's a pretty rare line in this deck. I would say.
You should do it earlier, at least turn 2 latest, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, we will see who starts the game.
We will. I will pick this one.
Okay, I will pick this one.
Okay.
You will start.
I will start.
Great.
Wow. A rare occurrence on this channel.
That's true. We will resolve mulligans and get back.
Yes.
Okay.
We are back.
Yes.
We have both kept 7.
I think you've seen our starting hands. I think you told me you have a good hand. I have an interesting hand too.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
There are definitely points that this hand could stumble on, but I think we can start it off by fetching for a Underground Sea. And
that's very powerful.
A Thoughtseize, because
that's very, very powerful.
I do not want you.
I was expecting that to happen. So I have the Kreisel Gaia.
Yeah, you have the turn one.
Very cool card. I have a Gamble. I have a Ghost Vacuum, which is good against you. I have a Ferry Macabre and a Carnage. Crimson Chaos.
Okay. So yeah, I think I will take the turn 1 Asmo.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And everything else is.
But you rather take this, right? I have.
There are 2 turn 1
2 turn 1.
Never mind. Then it doesn't matter. Then I will take the Ghost Vacuum.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
My bad.
I mean, the thing is, this one here is continuously reducing your graveyard, and I could also think about playing this on turn 1.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to respect the mental misstep, but apart from that, so the Ghost Vacuum is discarded, right?
Yeah.
All right. Going over to my turn?
Yep.
Okay. So we will draw. We will fetch. Do you know what fits well in this deck? A Mox Ruby.
It does.
The GRAIL series returns, bigger and bolder than ever, ready to become the biggest Duel Commander tournament in the heart of the Czech Republic. With incredible prizes on the line, the stakes have never been higher. Among the treasures awaiting the champion, a coveted Mox Ruby. Will you claim your Ruby or die trying?
All right, I'm back from fetching, and you've seen this awesome clip. Definitely go over there. We will be there. We will try to battle for the Mox Ruby. I think it will be an awesome event. Some of you might know we go to chess tournaments for years, and we are really looking forward for that. If you need any additional infos, look down in the description, and we will see each other fighting for the Mox.
Absolutely. Hopefully we get to those 160 players.
That would be great, yeah. I will continue by discarding the Circling Vultures, I think it's called in English, casting my Asmo.
Yep.
And then I will exile the Simian Spirit Guide to cast my Cookbook right away. And it seems that Samuel has a mental misstep ready.
No, I have a bit worse. I have a Force of Negation.
Oh, okay, but it's still worth it, I think.
To exiling a remand.
Yeah.
So yeah, my hand was, I'll take the turn 1 Asmo with the Thoughtseize. And if you have a turn 2 way to do it, I can remand it. Which kind of keeps you off a cycler. But yeah, no Cookbook is also pretty good.
I pass the turn. No Cookbook is very good, actually, yeah.
I will draw a card. Play land, I'll fetch.
In response to that, I would like to exile your 2 instant and sorceries.
Yep. will cast a mental note
Mm-hmm.
to put 2 cards in my graveyard,
Mm-hmm.
draw a card,
Mm-hmm.
and with 5 cards in my graveyard, cast my Tasigur.
That is pretty good.
So through Graveyard Disruption, still a turn 2 Tasigur, pretty strong,
Yeah.
with a bunch of fetch lands and spells cast in the
The
meantime.
exiled can should move them over,
Yeah,
otherwise
I can
it's
take them over here. No cards in graveyard right now. And I'll pass the turn.
okay. Drawing a card. I have my Surveil land. Yeah, I think the Daredevil can go to the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I have no access to my cookbook. I will pass the turn here.
Okay. I'll draw. I will play a Drowned Catacomb.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll start attacking.
Yeah, I go to 15.
Yeah, your turn.
My turn. I will attack.
I will take.
Then I will play my gamble.
That's fine.
All right. Okay, I found my card.
Yes.
I still have to discard something. We will roll a die. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes. Go ahead. Roll it.
Go ahead. It's
3.
the 3. No. Was the card I was searching for?
Ooh,
that hurt so bad.
Looking for a land.
Yeah.
Point.
Okay, and now I can't continue with anything else.
But if it was the Carnage, that would have been great.
Yeah, go ahead. That's true.
End of turn, I will push. Asmo.
Okay. I think that will be a very fast game, guys. It's over there, right? Or you want to keep it
I
here?
can keep. I
Okay,
would keep
whatever
it
you
here
like.
so
Yep,
that we have a count of the graveyard. I'll attack
Alright.
for 4 again.
Yep. Go to 11.
And Thought Scour myself.
Yep.
Draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
And pass the turn.
Mm-hmm.
So no additional lands. Could get dicey eventually, but I think I'm in a pretty good position. Asmo's off the board.
Yeah, I think I have to keep on. But I mean, I'm trying to
Yeah, I think
kill this.
lose
It's
focus.
going to be countered. That was to be expected. Pass the turn.
We have a clock. We want to keep the clock. We have a tapped land. We attack for 4. I'll pass the turn.
Yep. Draw a card, and I keep missing land drops here. I will provide an Inti as a potential blocking wall. Pass the turn.
I will flash in a Hull Breacher.
Oh, even more meat.
And top deck a land, so I can bounce, draw, and attack
Okay,
for 7.
yep, that was a quick one. Over to game 2. Okay.
We are back.
We're back.
I've kept 7.
I've kept 6 cards, and if you look at my hand, you might think there is one card that you would usually put down.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in this particular matchup, especially because I'm on the play, I will start with a cookbook.
That's fine.
Because, pass the turn, it is very relevant to get that thing on the board.
A resolved cookbook is pretty strong here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will play a Willow Rush Verge and pass the turn.
Mm-hmm. Drawing a card. Yeah. I will discard a Galvanic Discharge and cast my commander.
That's fine.
Pass the turn. You probably have a Fatal Push for her.
End of turn.
Food token, by the way.
Yeah. End turn, I'd like to peek.
At my hand.
Yes.
I want to have a look. I have a Polluted Delta, an Emperor, and a Carnage again.
Okay, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, we'll see.
I will draw for peek, untap, draw for turn, play a Reflecting Pool. And pass the turn.
Okay. Draw a card. Play the land. I will play the Emperor.
That's fine.
Move to combat.
Yep.
Exile your peak.
Yep.
And attack for 3.
Take 3.
Then I will pass.
Okay. I will draw. and pass.
Mm-hmm. Go for combat. Nothing to exile. Attack with those two.
Take 5.
5, yeah. Then I would pass a turn.
End of turn, I'd like to go to 11.
I will fetch as well.
That's fine.
Okay.
Then, still in your end step,
Yep.
I would like to cast a Sauron's Ransom.
Oh.
I
Yep.
choose you.
Yep. Fine.
You look at the top 4 cards. The ring tempts me, which is not likely to be relevant, but we can track it anyway.
That's a difficult pile. That's the
You give
revealed pile and
Cosmogoyf and Lorien revealed.
I do.
I think I will go with the known pile.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. Happy with that choice.
People can debate whether or not that was a good pile. I think it's a very tricky pile.
Yeah.
Not easy at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Untap. Draw. Then...
But keep in mind that you also have information because you see Samuel's hand on cam that I do not have.
Yeah. Because I want my Goyf big enough to survive an Asmo activation.
Mm-hmm.
I will cycle the Lorien revealed for a tropical island.
Mm-hmm.
Play that tropical island. Cast Tasigur for 1.
Yep. You have it.
And cast a 6 count Goyf.
That's fine.
Then I will pass the turn.
End of turn, I would like to activate the cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
Discard the grief.
Yeah.
Then I will try to spray the Cosmogoyf.
Yeah.
And then I will
Yeah.
kill it. Because it is a problematic card,
Yeah.
as I said. My turn?
Yep.
So you're on 11. Ooh. It's not too crazy, but... move to combat.
Yes.
Exile the Goyf.
Yes.
And adapt. Is it... Oh, sorry. Is it my
Switches
turn?
in your exile.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
it doesn't... I will exile it,
Yeah.
but... does not make sense. I thought in... Yeah, that makes perfectly sense. In this case, it's exiled. And I think I will just take the timing to cast my Carnage for 2 without any target in the graveyard.
Okay.
But I get to cast it, I have more meat on the board. I think it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
Alright, I'll untap. I will draw. You did not play a land.
I did not.
Abrupt Decay Asmo.
Mm-hmm.
And pass the turn.
All right. How many cards in hand?
6.
6. Discarding a card.
Mm-hmm.
A Bloodgust.
Yeah.
The land comes back. Have a second food. Attempt to cast my commander. Which will likely be countered.
Force Spike?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Daze. So
that's okay. I take that.
You played around those 2 cards the whole game so far, and now I have to spend 2.
I had a couple of cards in mind.
Yeah.
Force Spike was one of them.
Yes.
In this case, this one has no haste yet since you're on 11.
Yeah.
How many cards in hand? 3? 4 even.
4.
Lots of cards. I will move to combat and exile your Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
And will not do anything else, I guess.
I will draw. I will play a land.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
Let's see. I will move to combat.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will exile your force spike.
That's fine.
Attack with the Bloodgast.
Would like to activate.
Okay. You get the Thoughtseize.
Yeah. Thoughtseize betraying me.
That's true.
Then I will block.
Okay. So it dies.
Yep.
And I play a land. Comes back.
Yep.
And I think I have to fetch right away. Since I still respect your opposition agent.
Yep.
Or stifle effects could also be a thing. Then I pass the turn.
Okay. So next turn, Asmo might come down.
Very unlikely, to be honest. Since you have 6 cards in hands, I know one of it.
Yeah, you know the Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
I will play a land, an Urborg. See what this brings. Cantrip a Cling to Dust on the Spark Spray.
Yep. All right. Passing the turn, I will draw cards. I would like to move to combat.
Mm-hmm.
And exile your Cling to Dust with the Emperor trigger.
Yep.
Over there. Second main phase.
Okay.
We'll cast a Currency Converter.
Wow. Got out of that one.
Ah,
Well.
that's unfortunate.
I have a Stubborn Denial for that. With
Yeah.
the stubborn Denial on the stack, I would like to activate my commander.
Okay. You get the spells now.
Okay.
I think. It's
Yeah.
similarly useless. Yeah, go. It's not total trash, but still not a card.
Something I can pitch to Subtlety or Force of Negation.
That is correct.
I will draw.
But the subtlety's gone, right?
The Subtlety is
Yeah.
gone, you are correct. Just Force of Negation.
Quite a stale board.
Yeah.
You gotta do something with your cards.
Yeah, well, if they're all useless.
You can start by casting a Thoughtseize, for example.
If they're all useless,
I can show you my hand.
there's not much I can do. Play a Creeping Tar Pit and pass the turn.
Cycle an Oliphant?
Yeah.
Search and play a Badlands. Move to Comet. Say my Oliphant. Would like to adapt.
Yeah.
So the boy comes in. This guy is big. Actually, like that. No, sorry. This way. This one is permanently exiled.
Yep.
And then I go to combat.
Yep.
So the other creature also gets trample. I think I will go for the Carnage Tyrant here.
Target Carnage.
So with the trigger of the Oliphant.
Yeah. Activate.
Okay. You get the step one.
Yeah. And then cast a Hull Breacher.
I thought so.
And since I have to block like this, yeah, it's going to be like this or like this. This one will die because this one's going to go.
I can give it first strike. That's why I assigned it to this.
Yeah, yeah, but doesn't really.
I want this to survive.
Yeah,
that's relevant for me.
But
But
this
I know
goes
what
away anyway.
Yeah,
I have to block here.
Yeah.
First strike. So I take 6, 7, 8, 9.
Correct.
Tasigur goes to the zone. Hull Breacher's in the graveyard. I go to 2.
Then I would pass the turn.
This is exiled.
That's correct.
I will draw. Wow.
You drew Toxic Deluge?
Not quite.
Not quite?
Not quite.
I think it's the only board wipe the deck plays, right?
Not quite.
I'm not sure. Oh, you drew Thought Lash.
I drew an upheaval.
Oh, wow.
With the upheaval, I will float. So it costs 6. So I will float a black and a blue and cast the upheaval.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there aren't that many outs, but that was one of them.
Yeah.
With the black and the blue, I will play a Creeping Tarpit. I will pay 2 mana for... Wait, my commander... I haven't recast it. It costs 2 more.
It costs 2 more.
I only cast it once.
Yeah. Sorry, I put 2.
Costs 2 more.
Yeah, it costs 2 more.
Yeah.
It has 1 card. Yeah.
Because
So you cannot cast it yet. No.
Yes, I can. I have 2 mana floating, and I have 7 cards in graveyard. I can leave 1 card in the graveyard.
If you don't play this one, yeah. Okay.
It costs
how many cards?
to play.
Yeah. Sorry.
And I have
you
7 cards in the graveyard.
You can reduce the cost
Yeah.
of the delve. True. All good.
I think I will leave the demonic in the graveyard.
Yep.
6, recast him.
Yep.
Go to my end step. Discard.
Clean up. Yeah.
Regular exile. This discard the Thoughtseize because I can't cast it.
How come?
Discard the Overgrown Tomb and the Wooded Foothills.
Yeah.
Then I need 1 more card. That'll be the Warborg. I need 2 more cards. Warborg and the Willow Rush Verge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's turn.
I should have played an untapped land.
I'll play the
cost of
cookbook.
Cookbook, yeah.
My cleanup step. I will get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. This and that.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
Draw. Play a land. Play a... Next turn you have the Carnage, you have the Bloodghast. The Bloodghast has haste. Yeah, I think I will play the Strix. Draw and pass the turn.
End of turn?
Yeah.
Discard this.
Yeah.
Trigger Bloodghast.
Yeah.
Discard the Carnage.
Yeah.
Play it for 2, bringing back this guy.
Yeah.
What am I missing? This is what I'm missing. So it cannot yet attack because it does not get haste. This guy gets haste. You just block it. Move to combat.
Yeah.
And I will exile your Demonic Jojo.
Yeah.
Then pass the turn.
Yeah, that was absolutely a mistake to not play an untapped land there to counter the cookbook.
Yeah, if you have a counter, I only know I have Spell Snare
and the Stubborn Denial.
All right, true. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, yeah, that's my bad. I will play a Consider. And pass the turn.
Okay. Draw a card. Inquisition.
Yeah, you see 4 1-mana counter spells and 3 lands.
You don't want to counter this with Mental Misstep?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I even have a troll to...
It doesn't matter, you can just attack.
I just wanted to show it. I just
and-
wanted to show it.
Yeah.
I survived upheaval. Woo!
Yeah, I think that's that comes down to my mistake. I have another game in order to correct that mistake.
Yes. Let's go over to that.
Yes. Okay,
All right.
we are back.
To the last round.
I have kept 6. I'm not too happy with the hand, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm here with 7, and my hand is okay,
Yeah.
I would say.
I will start us off with a Sculling Tarn and pass the turn.
All right. Likewise.
And nothing else?
Nothing else? Pass the turn?
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I always expect turn 1 Asmo from this deck.
There are only 3 ways to do that.
Yeah, and the first game you had 2 in your hand, so...
That's true. I will fetch in response.
Yeah.
I have a trigger?
Yeah. You can surveil.
I think this will... It's not really good. I think the lightning bolt will go to the graveyard.
Okay. I will mint one up.
All right.
Cosmoglyph and a fetch land to the graveyard. Draw a card. And then draw another card. Shock.
Okay.
And peek.
Have a look. I have 2 lands.
Mm-hmm.
A Faithless Looting, a Galvanic Blast, Sky Crash, FOMO, and an Ox of Argonath.
What does the Sky Crash do?
It destroys an artifact or cycle.
Okay.
Nothing special against you.
Okay. Then I think... So I will draw for the peek.
Yep.
And I will cast my commander.
All right.
So Cosmoglyph not coming to play quite yet.
True.
Pass the turn.
I will fetch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will play that.
Yep.
Resolves. I will definitely discard this guy. And I think I will also discard this guy.
Okay.
Is this correct? Yeah, I think that's okay. Yep. And then I will cast my commander.
Yep.
Search for the cookbook and pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw.
Mama, have you heard of the crazy guy who silver-bordered the cookbook?
I will play an Undersidisuous.
Okay.
And surveil an Inquisition to the graveyard.
Interesting, yeah.
I think I'm okay with that. I will play a Baleful Strix.
All right.
Draw a card. And attack for 4.
Ooh. Just when I decided to discard the Sky Crash.
Exactly.
Very
Your
good.
turn.
It was my only target in your deck, I think. Not entirely sure, but okay. We will start by playing an Urza Saga. And the Urza Saga is going to try to resolve a cookbook.
That's fine.
That's fine, okay. That is interesting. Then I will try to Fatal Push the Baleful Strix.
That's fine.
Also fine. Attack for 3. Take 3. That's correct. Pass the turn.
Okay.
Oh, wait. In respect of Tishan's Tide Banner, I will activate it right away.
Okay.
And discard a Patronage Imp to make it food token.
Okay.
Then you can go.
I will draw. That's not really what I wanted to draw. But that's okay. I will ponder.
Yep.
That's fine. Draw a card. Play a land.
You have it.
I'll attack for 4.
Okay. Keep attacking.
And pass the turn.
End of turn. I would like to cycle the Baron Maw.
Yep.
Draw for turn. Trigger for the Saga. Move to combat.
Yep.
Take 3. Oops.
How does this go away again?
There it is.
Okay.
And then I still have this. I will pass the turn, I guess.
I guess I have to do it. I have to try like this. I will cast a Hull Breacher.
A Hull Breacher. Oops. I would like to activate the cookbook.
Yep.
Discard the FOMO. And I will get rid of this guy.
Yep.
As well as this guy.
Okay.
And I think I will make a... Will I make a token right away? No, I will not make a token right away.
Okay.
You can go.
I'll draw.
Yep.
And play a Wilderness Reclamation.
Mm-hmm.
And pass the turn.
In response to the trigger, I make the token?
Yep.
Where is it? There we go.
Untap.
Yep.
And
Do we have a second one? Not quite.
dismember Asmo.
Dismember my Asmo. That's sad, but I understand. I do think that Asmo is not your main problem here anymore. So, my turn, yeah?
Yep.
You keep up so much mana. Then I draw. Sorry. I would like to make another construct.
I would like to Tidebinder the second construct.
Here is the
my
Tidebinder.
lineup of cards is absolutely horrific against the way you've been playing the game.
I had numerous cards.
You know everything. It's like my cards are open. There's nothing I can.
I'm sorry. I have lots of games against Tasigur, so I have all these things in my mind to play around.
You still have a search.
I still have the search.
Yeah,
Thank
which
you.
is there's no way I can navigate that differently. I mean, I could have left my mana open the whole time and not done anything, but I'm still losing the game if I don't do anything. It doesn't, like, this game has been a masterclass on your side, and my hand has been way too awkward. Like, if I have this turn 3, if I don't have a tap land, then I get to do stuff. But I have a tap land and I have to tap out and I can't do anything. I thought it through the whole time. I have no way to prevent you from killing Asmo unless I just wait forever until you activate it. And if I do, then I'm losing 6 mana the whole time, and that's even worse.
Yep, true. That happened. I will play a land.
Yeah.
I will go for combat with
a 3/3.
Yeah.
You have played the discharge, but I think I have to jump anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna activate the cookbook. Gonna discard an Inti.
Yeah.
Make a food token.
Yeah.
I actually discarded into the converter.
Yeah. So that's even worse for me now.
And then I have the Ox from the graveyard still.
Yeah.
That resolves.
What am I supposed to do?
Subtlety.
Yeah.
You have 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actually. Like that. Still keeping up Delirium. So I discard my entire hand again into the converter.
Yeah.
And draw 3, and it is kept with a 1/1 counter. 1, 2, 3. And to go even further, I think I'm going to discard the Fairy Macabre to get rid of Dismember and the Baleful Strix, I guess.
Okay.
And just again discard it into that.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
Okay. On tap, I will draw. Okay, so I guess I have to cast my commander.
For 8, yeah.
For 8.
Exiling everything, okay.
And pass on tap with Wilderness Wreck.
In response to that, I would like to trade Inti for a token.
Yeah, there's...
My turn?
Yeah.
So you have right now you're on 6, drawing a card. I have a bone shots discarding a spirit guide, targeting your chef.
Yeah, I have a mana leak. I have a Corrupt Decay for another thing, but that's still enough damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GG, mate.
GG's.
Interesting games.
Yeah. That was the perfect stack on Felix's side on that last game.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Also very
the way it
difficult,
goes sometimes.
You know, you have to fight through Urza Saga, which is already tough from your spot. You have to fight through Currency Converter that comes afterwards.
Yeah.
I got to resolve my cookbook. Once that happens, I can make use of my synergies.
Yeah, I mean that is like we play these cards to have these massive blowouts, but if the opponent is aware of them, they're just so shit.
Yeah, it's
so clunky.
Much harder to make use of them.
It's so clunky. They're sometimes they're the best cards in the deck, and sometimes they're the worst cards in the deck. The game you just saw was them being the worst cards.
I think this one here is like quite easy to play around from my perspective. This one is something that you just can play end of turn, as you did, right?
Yeah.
You just play it at some point, and because it can still affect my later decision making. If I have all these blood tokens, cycling effects and stuff, I don't get to draw anymore. That's still good.
Yeah.
But some of those cards, this is especially. If you have to play this end of turn just to play it, just to not lose the tempo, it's really awkward because usually you want to copy my Fury ability with that and stuff. You know,
it's very good when it does that.
Yeah,
but when it doesn't,
absolutely.
and with the Hull Breacher as well, I see him set up the Ox of Agonis. I would love to keep the card in hand.
Yeah,
and like if it was a 1 mana do the effect 1 time, it would be so much better than 3 mana do the effect.
Definitely.
Infinite amount of times, because it only works once. After that, the opponent doesn't choose to do it again.
Right.
And
for those situations, it really works as a blowout, and that's why you play it. Also, in addition to the opposition agent that in some cases I had in mind, you know.
Yeah, and in this case, you know, it's the stats are so much worse than everything you're doing in your deck for 3 mana. So when it doesn't work, it's they're annoying cards to have. But as we saw as well, there are situations where, you know, if I'm trying to hit land drops, if I'm trying to do anything and I have a counterspell in my hand, I have to choose to say, okay, I can't counter this turn. I have to develop my board. And if I do develop my board and then you use that window as the only time that you get to resolve a spell, or if my counterspells are the wrong ones, you know, all these things happen. Days Force Spike, and the opponent always has 1 mana open. You're sitting there thinking, oh, fuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
True. All right. Thanks a lot for watching.
And see you
in the next one, and see you at the GRAIL series.
Yes, hopefully there as well.
All right. Let's go over to the next one.